Now let's go back to Bernie Sanders. Comrade Bernie Sanders. I think we should start calling these Democrats who come up with these ideas, Mr. Producer, the Maduro Democrats. What do you think? From the Castro wing of the Democrat Party. And so we have General Isimo Maduro Sanders. He's on Univision the other day with Jorge Ramos. So here's Bernie Sanders and Jorge Ramos. Cut 9, go.
Before you go, I want to ask you about Venezuela. Do you consider Juan Guaido the legitimate president of Venezuela?
No, I think what has to happen right now, I think there are serious questions about the recent election.
Hold on. He attacks Republicans more on voter suppression and all the rest of it than he does this murderous dictator in Venezuela. Seriously. Because the murderous dictator is a Marxist. And so he doesn't consider Juan Guaido the legitimate president of Venezuela. He said no. But there's serious questions about the recent election. Yeah, there really are, Bernie. Go ahead.
It was a fraudulent election. And I think the United States has got to work with the international community to make sure that there is a free and fair election.
Now, how do you do that? You've got this Marxist fascist or whatever you want to call him who's running the country. We should work with the international community to have a freer election. You know, people are electing to leave that country by the millions. 3 million Venezuelans, I think I read, have left. But that doesn't move, Bernie. No. Commandant Bernie. Ramos tries again. Go.
So is Nicolás Maduro a dictator, Senator, for you? And should he go?
I think clearly he has been very, very abusive. That is a decision of the Venezuelan people. So I think, Jorge, there's got to be a free and fair election.
Oh, man. No wonder Bernie Sanders won't come on my shows. None of them. He asked you if he's a dictator. You didn't say yes. You said, I think clearly he has been very, very abusive. No. He's a dictator. He kills people. He tortures people. He kidnaps people right off the street. But you see, it's a decision for the Venezuelan people. The Venezuelan people, how is it a decision for the Venezuelan people? They've been protesting. They're starving to death. They're leaving the country. Well, what we need is a free and fair election. They have voter suppression over there, comrade. Voter suppression. Now, I want you to think about this. This guy's defended Castro. He's defended the Soviet Union in the past. He's defending now Venezuela. And he comes off like this nice old guy who just wants to help people. He's not a nice old guy who just wants to help people. He's a red. He is a dangerous fool. He is a communist. Don't give me this democratic socialism crap. Is it democratic socialism in Venezuela? Notice I kept saying yesterday, look at Scandinavia, look at those countries, look over there, look over there. Well, why don't we look in our own country at some of the blue states? No. Look at Venezuela. Why doesn't he point to Venezuela? Right in our own hemisphere. Because he knows you'll be repulsed by it. But he won't emphatically condemn Maduro. He won't emphatically condemn that regime. He doesn't believe the opposition leader was the duly elected president, as most of the countries of the world do. He sees the starving. He sees the poverty. He sees the murder, the kidnapping, the torture. He reads about it. He knows all about it. It is another failed Marxist socialist dream. A nightmare. And I have to say, shockingly, stunningly, Jorge Ramos asked him a couple of good questions. Didn't you think, Mr. Producer? You won't get those questions from Don Lemon or Chris Cuomo or Jake Taptout. You won't get those questions from Rachel Maddow and slobbering Chris Matthews. You certainly won't get them from Joe Scarborough, who is so obsessed with Trump. But there he is. A Maduro Democrat, a Castro Democrat.